We just watched the trailer for HBO's adaptation of the Harry Potter series, and this is for Series 1, which will cover the Philosopher's Stone over 8 episodes, coming out this December 2026. And I have actually always been a big supporter of this idea. Look, it was going to happen eventually. Harry Potter is such a big moneymaker, such an iconic brand. As much as I love those films as millennials, Gen Z, those films are very dear to me and a lot of people. They cut out a lot from the books, and I think it is cool that we're going to be, getting a chance to actually see the books fully represented on screen. And from this trailer, I'm all in, honestly. You know what? It feels familiar, but still has enough of its own identity. I know you're not as maybe immersed in the Potter world as I am, but what did you make of that trailer?
I like Nick Frost.
Nick Frost as Hagrid. Yeah, it's going to be weird, with
Very
hearing
weird.
a different accent, though, because Robbie Coltrane, God rest in peace, is just like, he's so ingrained into my memory.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a wizard, Harry. I'm a what? That is just so iconic.
But I like the cast. I like Anton Lesser. I like Daniel Rigby.
Oh, Anton Lesser is an excellent actor.
I love Catherine Parkinson. She's fucking great.
Wait, who's she playing?
Molly Weasley.
Oh, Mrs. Weasley. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Though it's going to be hard to replace the great Julie Walters.
Yeah.
She made that character so iconic.
There will be a transitional period for everyone to get used to. Yeah.
Yes, I do get that. It still somewhat feels weird to me. Like, a lot of people feel like it's like a weird, like, alternate dimension. Seeing, different people play these characters. Yeah. Seeing, kids other than Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson playing it. But I feel like that will hopefully disappear, once people get used to it. And hopefully, this series is good. And actually, what makes me really, I will say interested. The head writer of this show is Francesca Gardiner, and from what I've read, she has written on Succession, which I still need to watch, and Mark Mylod, who directs a lot of Succession, and also Entourage and The Menu.
And Game of Thrones.
There you go.
Yeah.
That does make me very excited, because these are very, in the case, Mark Mylod is the only one I really know, and Francesca Gardiner seems exceptionally talented, but Mark Mylod is just like a television legend at this point for the shows he's worked on. So the fact they've got these people involved does make me very
100%.
interested.
Yeah. I don't think they'll fuck it up.
No,
and that whole thing
it.
about it, it's weird that it's not the actors. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
It's a new time now. Move on.
Yeah.
If it's good, what can you do? People are trying to tell the story. What's good, like you said, what's interesting about this is that the movies, they had to cut out a lot of shit.
Yeah, so much, man.
And this time, we have more time to actually delve deep into the lore and explore it more.
Yeah,
and that's
for
great.
fuck's sake, there was no Peeves in the films. Peeves is like this very iconic ghost who's in a lot of the video games, many of the books. We never got him in the film. The fact we'll actually be able to see Peeves, that will be fantastic. And there was a key example in the trailer. The bit of Aunt Petunia cutting Harry's hair, that's like a line in the book.
Right.
And I think that's really cool because in the first film, even though I still really like that first Chris Columbus film, you don't really get to see the extent of Harry's home life except for maybe the first 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
Like the fact that we see Harry at school and Dudley being an absolutely evil little shit. From what I can tell, that kid looked really just evil, perfectly cast. I think it's going to be cool that we'll actually see how shitty Harry's home life is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's something they did not dive into in the films, apart from it was more, just a fun little opener. Then the Dursleys were more cartoon villains. I am just very interested to see them portrayed as actually the horrible people that they are, and because the abuse that Harry had to endure. So I think that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
And another casting choice that I'm very interested to see pan out is John Lithgow as Dumbledore.
Yeah.
American, firstly.
Yeah, I really like him.
Which does kind of go against the rules that were set, in films that it was only a cast of British and Irish actors, but he's a fantastic actor. And for context, he played Churchill in The Crown. Yeah. Excellent show. Did that really well. And I think he will absolutely kill it, though it will be hard to replace Michael Gambon.
I wonder how well it will do at effectively capturing, or even if it's interested in capturing that Christopher Columbus vibe of the first ones.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people didn't like that vibe from the first ones, did they?
Yeah, I think a lot of people maybe don't like it because they prefer, the later films, like the like Prisoner of Azkaban, which is probably the best, and like the David Yates films. But I think people don't give Chris Columbus enough credit because even if objectively, like the first film is not the best, it's so well done. It's so warm and inviting, and he built that world cinematically from the ground up. So I think the fact that this, again, it does seem a bit Columbus-y, but like enough of its own thing. I mean, mind, this is coming from someone who's just watched those films so many times.
Yeah, no. When I followed the first four. I love the Alfonso Cuarón one. I honestly, if he was directing the fucking series,
oh my god,
I would have been more intrigued.
Be crazy,
yeah, because he only did one, didn't he? But that Prisoner of Azkaban, yeah. But Christopher Columbus, like he, I mean, like you said, it was very warm and inviting, and I think out of all of the ones that I saw, anyway. He was the best, and you could say it was probably by design because they are the first couple of movies, but he did an excellent job at the world building. The world building was just like
absolutely
perfect. Yeah.
And like, because like this series, it grows as the characters grows. It's very warm and inviting.
Yeah.
And I like that this feels more inviting. Though having said that, I mean, some people I've read have been getting on the color palette. Right. I don't think that's a big issue. I don't think it's one, this is a trailer. Yeah. These are probably still being edited in post.
Right.
And two, I don't think it's meant to be dark. It's maybe meant to be slightly more realistic. Right. Which I'm actually interested in seeing a different visual style, because this is actually... The series is a period piece because the books were written in the 90s. The films weren't really set in the 90s.
Right.
And from like a lot of the photos that have come out, they're actually embracing the 90s tone.
I see.
And again, it's hopefully going to show, like I said, Harry's home.
Where were they set then, the movies?
I guess the year they came out.
Yeah, like the 90s.
No, the 2000s.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But again, the first few books written in the 90s.
Okay.
That's going to be really cool. And I'm actually, again, interested just to, for them to delve more into Harry, really. Not that he wasn't delved into, but I just feel like with this being a TV show, there's more time. That is one of the benefits of TV and episodic storytelling.
Has everyone calmed down now about Hermione being cast?
Yeah, I think that's just ridiculous. I mean, look, these are kids, and actually from what I've seen, this girl is perfectly cast because she's actually voicing her in the audiobook.
Right, okay.
And this girl seems like Hermione.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not like...
So I don't think it's a big issue.
It's not like Emma... What's her name? Emma Watson was spectacular either, was it?
No, and actually, I mean, with respect to, like, the Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson, they still did really well in the first film. But I feel like now, because, child actors, I guess they maybe have more training... I feel like the kids will probably actually be a lot better than the original trio were. And don't get me wrong, that adds to the charm of it. But I feel like these kids might actually give better performances. This is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, because it's funny because obviously Daniel Radcliffe, like that whole trio, because it was such a big franchise, it was just huge. They are such an iconic trio, but like I would say, arguably from what I saw, Daniel Radcliffe wasn't that great. Like I would say, out of all of them, Rupert Grint.
Oh no, he was the best. Like as a kid, he was the best.
Rupert Grint was the
Absolutely,
best. Yeah,
such a natural. But no, in the first film, Emma Watson is very awkward.
Yeah,
in that first film, there is a lot of moments where you can tell like she's not reading lines off like a piece of paper, but it's like, right, you've got to look, confused and worried.
Yeah.
And it's like very much a child being guided.
Yeah.
I feel like these kids will be a lot better. So one of the big talking points of this, and it's something, it's a very nuanced conversation, is the fact that they have race swapped Snape. He's being played by Papa Essedu, who unfortunately has received a lot of death threats, and Warner Brothers had to step up the security around him, which is awful. No actor should have to go through that, and I don't think we should judge his performance, like given we haven't seen much of it, he just appeared in the trailer.
I mean, even if he gave the most dog shit performance, it doesn't mean that death threats are warranted.
Exactly, it just goes.
It's just mental, isn't it? How
that
like
is awful.
Well, the people were getting pissed off because he's been racist as a black guy and Snape was originally a white guy.
Yes, so coming into that, the interesting thing to think about is as they get to the later books, because by Order of the Phoenix, we go a lot more into Snape's backstory and how Harry's dad was a bit of a dick.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder how they're going to play that, and with the context of this story, because they would have been at school in like the 70s.
Right.
Harry's dad bullying a young black student in 70s Britain is going to be very dicey, to say the least.
Yeah.
So I do wonder how they'll handle that. If it's going to be distracting, or if it will add a new layer to the story, and not to say it can't, but it's a very interesting choice. I'm not against the choice, but I'm curious as to how it's going to pan out creatively.
Yeah, I wonder how they'll how much they will take creative license with the story.
Yeah, like how they're going to address that.
But I look, it's not new that everywhere you look, when it comes to recast, when it comes to readaptations, there are cast choices that are designed to diversify. Which is to me, it doesn't annoy me at all when it comes to fictional stuff. Like, who the fuck cares? It wasn't real life. You know what I mean? The only time it pisses me off is when you're like changing a real life story.
Yeah, I think it gets dicey when you're like playing with a historical figure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't do that. Like just stay accurate.
Dicey in that regard.
Yeah, like you're just virtue signaling. But when it comes to stuff like that, it's a fucking fictional character.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as Papa has to do, if he gives a great performance, I really will not care. But no, I do have, I have a lot of high hopes for this, and I will say, like, the money's on the screen. Apparently, like, they spent $100 million episode, and this looks big and expensive, and it doesn't automatically equal better. But I think, if you are doing Harry Potter, which is one of the most expansive like fantasy worlds in pop culture, next to Lord of the Rings, next to Game of Thrones, you got to put the money on screen. You got to have a big budget,
right?
And this looks big and grand. Like, I'm especially excited about how they're going to do Quidditch.
Right.
Because Quidditch was actually one of the shortcomings of the original Columbus films. And actually they did show
the CGI.
As much as they could have, really.
CGI looked a bit shit.
Yeah, the CGI is kind of rough, as much as I do enjoy that first film. But no, I'm just really excited for them to show certain elements on a grander scale.
But what I find so insane is how far we've gotten when it comes to like budgets. Like compared to Game of Thrones, like the iconic, the god tier seasons were the earliest ones where the budgets were like 4 million.
Yeah.
And they kind of, that is a huge scope. Like, that's a huge scale story, And you could see in the first couple of seasons, they made creative decisions on how they show battle sequences because they couldn't afford to have these massive scenes, But as it grew bigger, the budget got bigger, and that didn't, by any stretch, make it better,
Yeah, I mean, case in point, Stranger Things last year. Why is it probably the most expensive season of the lot, one of the most expensive shows, in history, comes out 4 years after season 2, and why does season 2 look better? And that was made during a pandemic.
Exactly.
Like, it just makes no sense. So much money went into Stranger Things, and man, some of that CG, it's rough. So yes, I mean, more money doesn't automatically equal better, but I do think when it comes to Harry Potter, it's you've got to put the money on screen.
So you're already a subscriber of HBO Max?
I am.
Yeah.
It's new for us. It's been in the US for I want to say 3-4 years, but I mean, I don't know why it took so long, but it's here in the UK now.
And that's where you get your Succession, your Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and for the Horn Dogs, your Euphoria. Obviously, shout out Sam Levinson.
Yeah.
But no, HBO, they just have excellent shows. I mean, like White Lotus, for example.
Oh, HBO, the fucking goats,
HBO,
man.
I think, one of the best streamers out there.
Yeah.
Industry as well, so many excellent shows, and hopefully this is one of them. So, we'll see.